Hey y'all, welcome. Today I am testing 3 ingredient recipes. I have seen recipes all over Instagram, Pinterest, Snapchat, not Snapchat, Instagram, YouTube, duh, oh my goodness, that say you only need 3 ingredients for this recipe. It's so easy. And I'm like, okay, I gotta try them. So I'm testing a snack, a dessert, and a full-on meal that my family's gonna have for dinner. So let's just try them out. You'll get to see the results and if they are actually worth repeating. Let's get into it. The first thing I tested out were these honey nut Cheerio peanut butter bar things. I mean, they look amazing. Peanut butter, honey, and Cheerios. What's not to love? So I had high hopes for these. Okay, like I said, literally all you need are Cheerios, honey, and peanut butter. So good together, hopefully, right? First, we're gonna put the honey and peanut butter together in a microwave-safe bowl. Put in 3/4 a cup of peanut butter. I did spray the measuring cup so the peanut butter would come out easier. Also, you're gonna put in a 1/2 cup of honey. I mean, look at that pour. That is so satisfying. I just love honey. Now I'm gonna put it in the microwave for 30 seconds. After the 30 seconds are up, I stirred them together and I put it back in for another 30 seconds. After it comes out, it is more liquidy. That is an odd word to say, but it is more of a liquid consistency than before. Now it is time to add 3 cups of Cheerios. Now, if you don't have honey nut Cheerios, I'm sure you can just use regular Cheerios. This just adds more of a honey flavor. Now, after you add your 3 cups of Cheerios and mix it all together, I mean, this is so satisfying. I don't know why, but it is. After I mix all that together, I put it into a dish, and I didn't spray the dish because these really are not going to stick to the sides once they are chilled. I spread them out evenly, and then I stuck them in the refrigerator for about an hour-ish. You can keep them in there as long as you need to. Okay, while we were... What? Okay, while I am waiting on the bars to set up, it has been a little bit, but I'm still gonna keep them in there. I'm gonna make this 3-ingredient mug cake. All I need is a ripe banana, 2 to 3 tablespoons of cocoa powder, and 1 egg. Let's see if I have an egg. Got it. It said to put it in a blender, so I'm gonna get out a blender. Okay, I'm gonna put the banana in. Okay, for this mug cake recipe that we're going to attempt, you just need 1 banana. It can be as ripe as you want. Mine wasn't extremely ripe, but the riper they are, the sweeter they are. Then you're gonna add 1 egg and 2 to 3 tablespoons of cocoa powder. So I'm gonna do about 2.5. 1, 2.5. It's time to blend it up. And I just mix it up in a blender. I'm gonna scrape the sides. Oh wow, it is a batter, kind of. I'm gonna blend it up one more time. I'm gonna take a mug and I'm gonna spray some olive oil in it to grease the bottom and the edges. Then I'm gonna use my hand. This is the batter. It is a really dark batter. Very dark chocolate smelling because there's a lot of cocoa powder in it. But it does resemble a batter. Brief Bible verse time. Matthew 23:11 states, "The greatest among you must be a servant." We are supposed to serve others and love on others in every single thing that we do. And if you want to make this food for other people, that is one way you can serve them. So serve others today and love everyone. I definitely think I have a really big mug, and I didn't need this big of a mug. I just didn't know how much it would fill up. It only fills up a tiny bit. But I'm gonna stick it in the microwave for 1 minute. Smells like a chocolate covered banana. It just really doesn't look very cooked. I'm gonna let it sit here and cool down, and maybe it will harden up a little. The cake seems to have hardened up a little, so I'm gonna put it on a plate to see how it goes. You could obviously just eat it in the mug, but I wanna see what it actually looks like. Oh, it didn't flip. It just came out like that. Okay, so there's no batter left in the bottom. That's good. It is a little gooey on this side. But I do want to remind you that everyone's microwave is different, and our microwave is really not that powerful, so it could be my microwave's fault. Okay, I know this looks kind of odd, so we're gonna taste it. Let's go for it. So it's very soft, but it is pretty cooked. Time to taste. It has a very dark chocolate flavor. If you don't like dark chocolate and kind of a bitter chocolate, you won't like it. I really like dark chocolate. I really like the flavor of this. This is not the texture of cake, but I want to see if it's my microwave's fault that 1 minute was not enough. It is cooked, but it's not the texture of cake. So I'm gonna put it back in for another 30 seconds. I'm back. So I cooked it for 30 more seconds. It might be a little harder on the outside. It's firmer, I guess I would say, on the outside. The cake is still not like a cake texture, but I didn't add any flour. I didn't add any baking soda or baking powder, which is a leavening agent. So it's not gonna rise, and it's not gonna have the little air pockets like cake has, so it's gonna be denser. I really like the flavor of this, but it is not the texture of cake. It's more like, think of fluffy eggs. I'm sorry, we're having work done at our house. It's more like fluffy eggs. Now that sounds gross, but that's what the texture is like. It's more like a wet consistency, like a Jell-O. So think about a brownie, Jell-O, and eggs having a baby. That's the texture of this. I like the flavor, I don't like the texture. I would give it a 4 out of 10. It is interesting though that it does make something like a cake. I definitely would not try this again. If you want the flavor, you can try it, but don't try it just for the texture because it was a weird texture. Okay, it's been several hours and it's now time to take the peanut butter honey Cheerio bars out of the refrigerator. They look very yummy and they have set up. Okay, I know it looks like I'm struggling because it was pretty difficult to cut these just because it was hard consistency that you are cutting into after it is firm in the refrigerator, but it is doable. I did it, and I am a petite teenage girl, so anyone can do this. But honestly, they look amazing, so we're definitely gonna have to taste test. Time to taste test. This is amazing. Wow. You can really taste the peanut butter and the honey. I didn't think the honey would come through, but it really does. So good. And there are so many different ways that you can customize this. If you don't like Cheerios, you can use another type of cereal like Rice Krispies. I have Puffins. If you've ever seen Puffins, you could use those. And if you don't like honey, you could probably try maple syrup. If you don't like peanut butter, you could try almond butter or any other nut butter. So good. I highly, highly recommend. So easy. Oh my goodness. Delicious. Oh, I was like, what is that moving? It's the wind chime. Really good. Also, I forgot to mention that to store these, you just put them back in the fridge. So sadly, I am putting them back in the fridge because I don't need to eat 2 after I just ate lunch. These turned out to be absolutely delicious and they were devoured in days. I mean, it was just so good. I can't even describe it to you, so you have to try them. Lastly, it's time for dinner. My family loves Mexican food. We love trying out different Mexican dishes. And this was a 3-ingredient fiesta chicken dish. Had to try it. All I needed for this fiesta chicken recipe was a 16-ounce jar of salsa and a jar of Campbell's cheddar cheese condensed soup and some chicken tenders. I used about 2 to 2.5 pounds of chicken. Make sure your chicken is thawed out. We had a separate bag with some that had already been thawed out, so I put that in, and I'm using an Instant Pot. If you have a slow cooker like a crock pot, you can use that as well, but I can slow cook in the Instant Pot. It's kind of counterintuitive to say slow cook in the Instant Pot, but you know what I mean. It's possible. I just put the chicken in the bottom of the Instant Pot. I'm sorry you have to look at raw chicken. I know this disturbs some people. Some of the chicken was still a little frozen, so I had to separate it, but there you go. There's your chicken tenders that you want to look at. I know. Now I'm gonna add the cheddar cheese soup. This honestly looks odd too, so this is not a very appetizing looking dish so far. Now just dump the rest of the salsa and mix it all together and you get this glorious looking concoction. And I put the lid on my Instant Pot. So you can either slow cook it on high for 4 hours or low for 6 to 8 hours. I slow cooked it on low for 7 hours. Normal in an Instant Pot is like low in a regular crock pot. Boom, it is 7 hours later and there is our chicken concoction. Now yes, this looks odd, but don't knock it till you try it. We decided to shred up the chicken. You can shred it up by using a fork, or if you have the little shredding claws that we have, you can use that. You can put it in a mixer. There are a lot of different ways you can shred the chicken, but this definitely was easier to eat. You can put it in burritos, tacos, enchiladas. I ended up making a little bowl. I added cooked peppers, Spanish rice, the chicken, and the lettuce, and I ended up adding more salsa and Greek yogurt as my sour cream. Had a little bit of queso dip, and I did add some popcorners. It was absolutely delicious. This was amazing. My whole family loved it. The chicken was so moist. I know most people don't like that word, but when you're talking about food, you want your food to be moist. You want your chicken to be moist, so it was just so good. You have to try it. Thank y'all so much for watching this video. I really hope you got some inspiration for different recipes that you want to try out, and make sure you try out the first and third recipe. The second recipe, you know, you can try it out if you want. I hope you'll have an absolutely wonderful day. Be a blessing to others today. Bye, guys.